Everyone, welcome to Season 4, Episode 8 of the Warwick Zoom Garden Plot. We've got quite the session tonight. I don't know that anyone is new here. I think we all kind of know each other, so we're not going to do many introductions. We have had 3 people who sent pictures for the garden updates, and I want to mention. Generally what we do is we'll pick a couple people and ask them to send pictures. And then if you're not one of those 2, what we kind of like is if you've got 1 or 2 pictures that you have questions about, then send those. Otherwise, if you'd like us to be one of the featured gardeners one time, then we'll just let us know, and we're happy to work you into the rotation. So we ended up with 3 tonight, and then a couple other pictures in the back. Your name is pronounced Gillian, right?
Gillian.
Yeah, so she goes first. Carmen isn't here yet. We'll skip past hers unless she shows up. And then Samuel's here tonight to show us his garden. We've got a few announcements. Show and tell, I think Liz sent a picture that we've got a question about, and Q&A. And then that'll be the show tonight. So Gillian, why don't you tell us about your garden? What size garden do you have? And
it's not very big. It's stuck into a weird corner because there's trees everywhere on my property. So this is in the backyard, towards the back, and one of the few free areas that I've got that are relatively treeless. And I've really been experimenting the past couple of years with trying to get everything into containers, because I don't have good places to go down into the ground, either because of tree roots or septic tanks or what have you. So this over here on the right, the 2 green pots are potatoes. And I've actually been having pretty good luck with potted potatoes. And then in the container in the middle and to the left are onions. And this is my first time playing with onions. And that's my first ever zucchini, and I'm so proud of it. What I did last year was I started 2 raised beds, and before the winter set in, I built them, and then I experimented with doing lasagna gardening. So with leftover spent dirt and leaves and kitchen scraps and coffee grounds from Greenwood Lake Roasters in layers, and I just let them cook all winter. And went to plant this year, and the bed on the right that you see it's got some poorly laid out carrots and broccolini and a pepper in there, and an absolutely giant, and I just went back and looked at it, and it's gotten even bigger in the past couple of days, zucchini plant, and a couple of yellow squash that is being dwarfed by the zucchini plant. And the one on the 2 planters, I originally planted with mostly herbs. Most of this is just herbs. There's in the back one, you can see there's a squash in that one too. And that mainly happened because I had a small sprout of something and I couldn't remember what it was that I had planted. So I stuck it in there thinking it was an herb, and it wasn't. It was another squash. So that's now taking over that planter. But mostly that planter is simply thyme and basil. And I think there's a celery in there. And there might be a beet or 2, and dill. And the one in front on the lower left-hand corner there's the nasturtiums took over everything. And there was some leaf lettuce in there as well. That it's pretty much now bolted or has been given away. But I was really pleased with the nasturtiums because I got nowhere planting them earlier. And this is the first time they just took off. And in the one on the right, that's the big raised bed. And that's almost all tomatoes except for a squash and far back, and that one might just be getting a little too much shade. And the tomatoes aren't doing badly. I'm talking to a lot of people, and not a lot of people are having much go on their tomatoes. I finally found 3 tomatoes in that bunch that are relatively nice sized. The rest of them don't look like they all have their little yellow flowers, but they don't look like they're doing much. I'm hoping that as it warms up more steadily, we'll see more action there.
Okay.
Mostly I'm a poor gardener. I get more fascinated by structures that to grow things than I do the actual gardening part of it. And once things get to a certain size, I rather like letting them just kind of go for it and have fun. I'm not very interested in picking them or eating them. I just want to see what happens. So it's kind of the fool around, find out approach to gardening. And I do love digging out potatoes in the fall. But this is the first year that I've gotten this much growing. And you can see this big white structure, which is actually a carport that I'm using to hold up some netting to keep the birds out because the birds were getting everywhere. And of course, now my thought is I've got the other end of that that'll extend it one more row, and I'm thinking just turning into a greenhouse.
And by the way, Gillian made the hoop house in the common ground community garden, so she's a bit of an expert now.
And now I'm also building the keyhole garden, and I went and checked that today, by the way, Chad, because of all the rain we got, and that thing is solid. That is not going anywhere. So I'm really excited about that.
That's great.
On Wednesday. At least
I want to make it, you know what you're doing without even realizing it. I guess you're probably creating a seed saving garden, because if you let everything go, I did a few years ago, I did a tour of a seed saving garden, and it was pretty wild. It's like it was a garden that they let everything go to seed, so it was interesting. So
it's just it's one of the terrible reluctance to pick anything once it's grown because it looks like it's so happy. Like I'm gonna go after that zucchini because I'm enormously proud of the zucchini, and I usually pick some of the tomatoes, but the lettuces I just found myself wanting to let them have fun and just beep, which is what I did.
So I like the metal enclosures for the raised beds. Where did you get them?
Amazon.
Okay.
Just I mean, they're not very expensive and they're fairly easy to put together. And I put down cardboard, put those on top, and then just started filling with spent dirt and leaves and everything else I could lay my hands on, and just did a lasagna garden.
So they came in pieces, it looks like.
It's 4 pieces and then 4 corners.
Okay.
And then there's a couple of middle bars. I don't know if you can see on the right,
Yeah.
there's a bar going across that keeps them from bending out. But they're very, very simple structures, but I find it more pleasant to work from a slightly elevated position than in the ground.
Yeah. Nice.
And you can't see it. You can see where it's pretty shady here, and there's nothing I can do about it because there's just trees everywhere. But in front of those green pots where that hose is, there's actually where the septic tank is. So I had to keep everything away from the septic tank. That's about the sunniest spot in the entire property. So things tend to come up more slowly than not than I've seen in, say, the garden, the Grow Local Greenwood Lake Garden, where everything pops up immediately because that's full sun. But things do get there. They're slowly getting there. So
very nice.
And I desperately want to turn that into a greenhouse. I really do.
And it's so, despite the trees, it seems like you're doing really well.
This is like the past 2 years, I've gotten absolutely no play off those planters. And this year, all of a sudden, everything's blooming like mad. There was nothing in those planters last year. I mean, nothing. Then I moved them and then boom, everything took off. So basically the same planting too, except that the only thing that survived from last year was the time.
Well, everyone could always use more time, right?
I know. I'm not sure what to do with the nasturtiums. I don't even know why I planted them, except that I thought they were nice pollinators and they're pretty, and you can put them in salads, but I've never
eat
put them
it.
in a salad.
What part of the nasturtium do you eat? The flower or it's the flower, right?
Flower.
Oh,
No,
really?
both flower and the leaves.
Oh,
I didn't
The
know
leaves
people leave.
they're very mustardy. I love nasturtium. I eat
They're
them all.
nice, yeah.
Yeah, I like them. So eat them.
I'm gonna look at them. I'm not gonna eat them. I'm just starting on my vegetable journey, so I'm not as adventurous as you.
So Gillian, then
Yeah.
with your tree cover like that, it would seem that maybe that's why a community garden like the Common Ground Garden in Greenwood Lake, that's like ideal for someone like you, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I can get these things to grow some, but it's such a huge difference between, and it's the same kind of, when I built those beds are very similar to what we built over at the Grow Local Greenwood Lake, but the lack of sunlight really hampers the development of the fruit I'm
Mhm.
finding.
Well,
No,
from the,
Gillian,
it
I-
looks good. Even with the lack of sunshine or the lesser sunshine, it looks good. And I love your attitude. It's like, let it go, let it do what it wants.
I
It's
want
like,
to see what happens, yeah. And it
But
was
not
weird,
with
I
your
was
zucchini.
planting- I
Not
was
with your
planting
zucchini.
something earlier, and I dug in and there was this big fat earthworm. I was like, okay, I did the lasagna bed right. So the soil is really healthy.
Yeah, Michael's right. But you're gonna have 14-foot zucchini unless you pick them.
Do not
You'll have,
yet.
like,
you gotta
Yeah.
pick them.
Once they get like a baseball bat, you try to take them to neighbors and they will start closing the door when they see you coming. Do not do that.
Yeah,
Don't go there.
You need
Right,
Cut them off
zucchini-
where they're small and French.
We are
take a look.
terrified of zucchini.
Zucchini
Oh,
bread.
no.
Yeah, you
The
take
one
a look.
thing
You're like,
that
"Oh,
I-
I'll wait a few days. You come back, you're like, what the? It's like
Well, I
gigantic.
got a question to
And
ask
then
you with the
ram.
zucchini. When they get that big, when they get humongous, and you forget to pick them. Can you use bread? Can you use that for bread? Or is it no good for bread? Like to make zucchini bread?
I have,
Yeah, I make
but how
zucchini
much
bread
can
all
you
the
eat?
time.
Well, I have a neighbor who
Well-
likes to bake, and we like to eat zucchini bread. So if I bring him over to her and bring over whatever she needs, the supplies, she'll just keep baking us the bread. So
I've used the really big ones, but I would take out, because there was so much, I would scoop out the seeds, just,
okay,
you know, a little.
a-
bit of
okay.
that.
I've
Yeah,
chopped
that's
them
what I
up
did
just
too.
I make
eat
triple
like
shot,
that.
zucchini bread. You'll never know there's any zucchini in there. And you can also make zucchini lasagna. You can use the zucchini for the noodles.
Oh, okay. That's a nice
Okay.
idea.
Yeah, and you can spiralize it.
That's something to try. Yeah.
I think Dorothy was trying to say something.
Sorry.
Maybe it was somebody else.
No, it was me. I just agreed. I cut out the section with the heavy seeds when they get too big.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's move ahead now to let's have Sam tell us about what he's got going there, because I didn't put all of the pictures you sent up because some of them were repeats. So, but as we recall, this was like almost his entire planting space. Go ahead, Sam. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, no problem. So yeah, the bed is filling up here. You see on the left, the yellow currant tomato that I planted. It's not the whole plant. It's like 6 feet tall now. And it's getting too tall. You can see I have like the tomato cages, but it's beyond the fence. So I have a garden arch actually coming tomorrow that I'm gonna put over the bed and have it vine on that. It's just getting way too tall for me. All the way to the right in the back there is ginger, and right in front of it is turmeric. Ever since it started getting really hot, they really started taking off. So I can't wait to harvest that in a few months. Right to the left of the turmeric is carrots. They're doing well. I'll probably have another 30 days or so maybe. And to the left of that, I have a line of radishes, some beets. I have Swiss chard that just sprouted there, so it looks empty, but there's stuff growing there. And I have a cucumber right next to the tomato to the right, under the yellow tape. Yep, right there. I did have a bunch of lettuce there, but I had to harvest them because after that initial heavy rain we had, there was like slugs everywhere, and they were eating my lettuce, so I had to harvest them. Yeah, but so far so good on that. Yep, so there's some tomatoes growing there.
Oh,
so I'm
nice
can't wait
tomatoes.
to try those. Right there in the middle, I got a compost tumbler. I know there was an email out to get one of those that go in the ground, but I just didn't have enough space to fit it anywhere. So I just got my own tumbler here. It's in the corner. It gets a good amount of sunlight, so I'm hoping it makes some good compost from here and hopefully ready by next spring.
Sam, what all are you putting in your composter?
Food scraps, and straw and some leaves there.
Yeah,
So
great.
every few days I bought like one of those kitchen compost bins. So every few days, once it's like mostly full, I'll go in, I'll throw it in there, give it a tumble. I'll add some extra straw if I have to, just so that I don't get any like bunch of fruit flies in there. But so far so good. It's only been about like close to 2 weeks maybe since I put it up. So I know I don't have nothing usable yet. Right there to the right.
You might
is-
think of throwing a little bit of dirt in there too, but basically it's good
I
that you're
did.
not,
Oh, yeah.
it's
And
good
I
that you're
also
not
gave
just
it
throwing
some-
food in. That's
Yeah,
what I was concerned about.
I threw a handful of a few handfuls of some compost in there. So hopefully it's doing its job, but no smells or anything. It smells kind of sweet actually, maybe because of the straw, but no foul smells or anything. Yep, I got some. I put 2 tomato sprouts in there. That's a 5-gallon fabric bag. That my mom had a couple of sprouts, so I just took them and threw them in there, and that right there is about 2 weeks of growth since it came out. But so far so good. I actually just held them a couple days ago, so yep. Let's go to the next one.
Okay, well, we're a
That's
little
it.
bit early to shimmy in place, but Mark, please mention to Carmen we missed her tonight. We thought she's going to be here, but we're ready for her, but maybe we'll do next time if she wants to send new pictures.
Yeah, I sent a note out to the executive committee at the garden to please forward this to everyone. And I don't know if they did or not. They sometimes they just don't do it for whatever reason. So unfortunately, and she didn't reach out to me, but I'll let her know. I see her, every couple weeks or every week. So I'll let her know.
Is she on our, do we have her email? Because I could send her the notices directly if you want.
I'm not sure, but we're not allowed to share emails in the garden. They forbid it. For
Okay,
whatever reason, I guess they don't like us talking amongst ourselves. So unfortunately, I don't have her email. If I did, I'd
Yeah.
shoot it.
well,
Yeah.
if she wants to give it to me, you could give her mine if you want.
No. She emailed garden@sustainablewarwick.org.
Oh, you're right, she did.
Okay, okay.
Okay,
I know I've looked at her garden and she really did a great job on it. It was a patch of weeds, really bad weeds, and she and her husband turned it around. So
We have a couple minutes. Do you want to see the picture she sent a couple weeks ago?
yeah,
Sure.
sure.
Let's do this.
Oh,
'Cause
by the way,
yeah.
really quick, those pictures
Wow.
weren't duplicates. That was actually another bed that I made this
oh,
morning.
yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's also nice, Sam, that we've seen you since the very beginning. You're starting
Yes.
out, and now we're seeing the fruits of your labor,
Yeah.
literally.
And Sam, are you going to one of the community gardens? Because you're so space constrained. They'd love to have you at either of them, especially the Greenwood Lake one, but
If time allows, I would love to. If time allows.
You're welcome to come by. I don't know how close you live to Greenwood Lake, but you're always welcome.
Okay, are there certain days and times that?
Yeah.
there's
on-
Carmen.
Oh, there we go.
All
Good
right.
timing. Saturday mornings, 10 to 11, and Wednesdays, 6 to 7:30. But you can come in
10
whenever
to
you want. The
11
gate's
and
unlocked.
6 to 7:30, Saturdays, Wednesdays.
Carmen, welcome. I see Carmen has logged in, but the
Her
camera's
ears
gone.
must have been ringing.
Hey, Carmen.
Just-
Good. It's
Just
been
in time,
crazy.
just in time.
I have lost my phone. My phone is dead. It
Oh.
doesn't want to work. So all is like upside down in my world. Yes. So yeah, that's my plot. It's
Mark
wrong.
It's
Mark-
beautiful.
Mark was telling us that you and your husband took over and it was full of weeds and you've done a lot. Tell us
It
about
looks
it.
great. It looks great. Carmen.
Yes. So last year we started like late. We started like towards May, and it was super. Weeds were all the way up to more than like my hip, and so we weeded it out as much as we could that first year, and we didn't plant anything, so we let the winter go in and take care of it. And I came back and I looked at it, you know, it wasn't, barely anything was growing at that point. And I was like, okay. Then, you know, I told my husband we should go out there and start working on it, till it and everything like that, when the weeds were like this small. And he's like, no, it's too cold. But eventually we did get out there. The weeds maybe were about our knee, and we got one of the brothers in one of the plots to till it, weed it first and then till it. And then we designed it. My husband was doing 2 of these this design, and I was like, so that'd be 16 triangles. That's too much work. So I was like, let me just do 1. So they're all cut in like a pizza pie. So there are 8 triangles. So each ones are subdivided, and they're so let's see.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I think you have the first pizza garden. I think we have a new technique.
And the cool thing is that when I actually wet the ground, where I have the walkway, all the water goes and wells there. So it's like an irrigation. It's an irrigation system. So it pulls in like those canals, and then when it needs the water, it'll pull from the sides. Yeah.
Should I go ahead to the next slide?
Yeah, let me see what you have. Okay, so, all right, so let me go back and I'll show you in the previous slide. So as you can see, if you count from, let's see, left bottom, 1 going across left. So that's the bottom left is
This
the
one?
herb. Yes.
Okay.
The bottom middle is strawberries and eggplants and bell peppers. The next one next to it is lettuce, spinach across the bottom area. And then the following one is tomatoes, cucumbers, and green beans. The one on top of that one is corn with sweet potatoes, 6 plants of sweet potatoes. The following one is bok choy. So I have the leafy bok choy and the baby bok choy. And then on the back is in the triangle with the bok choy, I have 3 plants of what is that? Green zucchinis. The following triangle is that's broccoli, cauliflower, and cabbage. And then the last one is beets. And then I have 3 different types of onions and garlic. And then the herb is oregano and yeah. So as you can see, each one, like the first one, that's so I have 2 rows of what is that? Crunchy lettuce, and then another row of romaine lettuce, and in between them I put yes, those are carrots. So I have like rainbow carrots, and I have like finger carrots. And then on the bottom, going across the triangle, I have spinach. So on the bottom, that's spinach. That's when the seedlings were not even started. Some of them were starting, but I planted like 4 spinach babies already grown. So that's what you see there. And I put seeds in between. The following one, those are my beets. I have 4 plants of beets. And then on top of that, like on the very top, you see like the bottom of the part of the onions. And in this, the third is, one side is cabbage. On a diagonal is broccoli, and the top side is the cauliflower.
Is this Mark's bed over here in the back?
No, I'm not in that row.
Somebody
Carmen-
else's plot.
Yeah.
Good job. You have everything except for the mozzarella cheese.
I know. I do
You
have
got so much
basil.
growing.
I have
You got all the
basil.
toppings.
Yes. So that's corn, and that's the onions. And I actually planted so on each corner and on the sides, I planted buds of flower. So I have gardenia, dahlias, tulips, and gladiolas. So I planted all around the bulbs. And it was funny because I've been like cutting away the weeds, and I was chopping off the tops of the gladiolas when they were coming up, until I realized, man, that was a gladiola. So when you see it like the top of the gladiola, instead of pointy, is like topped. And the dahlia is the same thing. The tops, like they were about this much, and I didn't realize it. And it was like, you see the tops like shaved.
Ouch.
Yeah. But it's been great. I try to go early in the morning, like after my therapy and doctor's appointment. I have them at 7 o'clock in the morning. So I try to get there right after, before the whole day starts, and water it and care for them, And I'm getting tomatoes in.
Oh, why you keep saying I? We.
I was gonna say, yeah. Carmen, what's your husband's name?
Joey.
He's out there all the time too. I see Joe out there all the time, and he's all doing the hard work. Good job, Joe.
Yeah, come on, Carmen, don't do that.
He actually did do those pathways, and he he has to go back out and redo them, because what I do is, like, when I shave, so Mark showed me one of the hoes that he had, and I bought one, which is super easy. And I just go around, like I give the land a crew cut, and I just, with the same hoe, I just bring it into the middle and it dries. So at the end of the day, or the next time I come, all of the weeds are dry in the middle, and I just move them to the edge so they have compost.
Good job.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have not gone back since it's been raining, so I could imagine how much. How have you gone back over there, Mark?
I took a quick, I was in Newburgh yesterday and took a quick drive up there just to see what was happening, because we had so much rain, and everything looked okay. It looked really wet, but I didn't see any, like, I was afraid, like, the fences were going to be down. I mean, we had like so much rain. I just want to make sure. I didn't get out of the car because it was pouring rain, but everything looked okay. So I think we're in good shape. It's just everything's super wet. So good job,
Yeah.
Carmen. That looks great. That looks really, really good.
Thank you. I'm
Well-
excited because I'm seeing, like in the beginning, you're like, oh man, we don't have, nothing is growing. Everything it looked like a standstill. And all of a sudden I came back and it's like sprouted.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I better stop weeding because I might still kill something else. So yeah, thank you guys.
Very
Mhm.
good. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for sharing those things and your great gardening energy. At this time, we want to shimmy in place. Shannon just showed up and we're going off to shimmy in place.
That's
but-
fine. I actually thought that I just missed it.
Great, great. So everyone take a 1-minute break and we'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Got a few announcements on the screen. Actually, these are the same announcements as last time, but I want to keep reminding people about these. They're sustainable Warwick meetings. We always meet the third Wednesday of the month, and in July and August, we'll be meeting in the town park. The August meeting is actually a picnic, but both of them we're having a picnic at 6 if people want to show up early and just hang out with other people. Christy, they're having really good success. It's really a lot of fun collecting compost at the Warwick Farmers Market. Do you have enough people signing up for that, or are you still recruiting?
We're still recruiting. We're good till the end of July, and we're recruiting for August and September right now. So if you're interested in volunteering, I can send you a link to our sign up questionnaire to get an idea of when you're available. So just put a note in the, I guess, in the chat, and I'll make sure to do that for you. Or you can go to the Sustainable Warwick website and you'll find it there.
And Christy, Jeff, and Kate have set it up so it's just really easy to do that job. You show up and you read the instructions and you ask people for their carrot tops as they're walking by. It's really not a stressful job at all.
Yeah.
And just also letting you know, we do that at the Farmers Market in Greenwood Lake as well. And we're not even at the volunteer part, but if someone is interested, we'd be happy. We're gonna have Ermin, I can never say his last name, but we'll be there. Sokovich will be handing out free compost containers Saturday from 9 to 1.
Great.
Free to come by Lakeside Farmers Market.
Yeah, he came to the one in Warwick and he gave away 20 of those containers the first day. So that was pretty great.
And Chad, do you want to tell us about your crop swaps?
Oh, yes. So again, always come, but don't come on the Wednesdays of the Sustainable Warwick meetings, but otherwise, we have every Wednesday from 6:30, from 6 to 7:30, at our Common Ground Community Garden. We're going to offer a place where people, when you have, as you know, for all of a sudden 500 zucchinis or cucumbers all come at once, or tomatoes, that you can kind of bring them and hopefully exchange with other people and, kind of give each other different food. And then we will bring any excess over to the food pantry on Saturday or the senior center. I try to distribute it. Some stuff's not appropriate for a food pantry, like a bunch of strawberries, but more for the senior center as well. So you're welcome to join us with your extra stuff.
And you have another announcement, Chad.
Yes, and this Saturday we'll be offering a potluck free, and a beautiful pizza oven will be there. Hopefully, you're all welcome to join us and share dishes and get to meet each other in person. See that we have bodies under our floating net heads, and we'd love to meet you there.
Ooh.
Okay, so on to the question and answer. This was the one that was sent out for the week. In order to nip these pests in the bud, what do you look for as an early sign of squash bugs, hornworms, and so forth?
Well, squash bugs are kind of a specialty of our garden, and because we had a huge infestation years ago. But what you do with the squash is, around now, when you see the Japanese beetles coming out, you take your squash leaf and look at the underside of it, and you'll see little red dots. They're clustered together, very tiny, like a pinhead, and those are the eggs. And so you scrape those off with your fingernail, or if they're on the edge, tear off a piece of leaf. But that's the best thing to do, is to get them when they're eggs. And if you miss them at that point, there's something called a nymph that it's about a 1/2 inch long, a little bug. So you figure out a way to squash those. And then when they're full grown, they look like a squash, they look like a stink bug. And then you have to get them in the water or something. But the best thing to do is to get the eggs.
So when you
If you
when you scrape the eggs off, Sarah, what do you do with them?
We just like carry around
Squish 'em.
cottage cheese containers or whatever. You can squish them, or some people don't like squishing anything. They're a little bit crunchy, but you can always just scrape them and throw them down in a thing of water with some soap in it.
Okay.
That's our answer to everything. But and they're sneaky, you have teams going around. You go around once, and then if you look again, there'll be more of them. But you have to, if you have squash bugs, you have to do that religiously.
So for what kind of period are you going to be finding the eggs?
Oh, the rest of the summer.
Wow. Okay.
It depends on your garden. This was a number of years ago. I've probably told you this story where I came over to the garden and the squash vines were like 50% dead. And they were covered with the full grown bugs. And we're all freaking out. And one of the members said, "Oh yeah, I came over and there are bugs all over, so I left." So after, which destroyed everything.
Threw
And
them
once
right.
you-
You threw him out of the garden. That person.
She was elderly, and anyway, she moved on. But hold of my hands not to strangle her, shall we say. But anyway, once you get an infestation like that, you really have to fight it back. So if you can nip it in the bud, so to speak. And some people don't have a problem with them. Then, of course, there's also the squash borer,
Yeah.
which is a completely different. I have not found an answer to the squash borer. We've done the surgery and that whole thing. And my only thing I know that works with that is you do some surgery, and I assume that the squash plant is going to die in like early August. And I put a second planting of maybe, I do 1 to 2, 3 plantings of zucchini, and then when the vine's dead, I pull it up and throw it in the trash.
We usually with the squash borer, an early sign would be if you see like a leaf or a number of leaves that are wilting when you have sufficient rain. Because if like if it's really dry like last year and everything's wilting, it's usually just because the plant's dry in the middle of summer. But if you have if you see a leaf wilting in this kind of rain, it's not due to lack of water. It's probably due to the squash borer. And then you can
Right.
zero in right on that leaf and either do the surgery or just remove it. But I was going to say we have issues with a Colorado potato beetle in the garden and also hornworm. And Sarah basically said the same thing that I was going to say. You look for eggs on the underside. They're orange. You scrape them off, or I squish them, and then what they'll do is they go through the full metamorphosis. So they go through an egg, larval, pupal, and adult stage. And I squish the larva. The larvae have like maybe 5 instars where they just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And I just squish them. I mean, some people are squeamish, but you got to watch it sometimes it hits me in the face. I mean, they really got some juice in them and they'll shoot out at you. And, your fingers can get coated because it's so, if you get a bad infestation, I'll squish the adults. I'll squish anything because they're really nasty things. And like Sarah said, same thing. You just got to keep at it until they're not there. There's really, there's no way around it.
But I had some pretty bad, I only have 2 tomato plants, but they're big and beautiful. And last year and the year before, I got the hornworms and I didn't notice them until they were huge and they had the egg sacs hanging off them. So they were already well into their, prime. Is there a way I can find them before they get to where they're actually damaging the plant?
With the black light.
Look for
Oh.
and look for frass too. If you see frass is basically their excrement. So if you go to if you see if you're looking at your tomato and you see this black kind of sandy stuff on the plant, it's usually an indication you have some kind of insect like a larva chewing on it and just pooping on the leaf, not a bird
Okay.
poop
Yeah.
if you see that I don't know who said, but just get a black light and go there around now and shine it on there. Or you
And
can
so
try
what,
to
they
look.
glow? They glow? And
Yeah,
I've never seen them, but
Shannon?
they're supposed to glow.
Go ahead, Shannon.
their skin reacts to a black light, so they're phosphorescent under a black light and really, really easy to see. So if you shine a black light on your plant, you'll be able to see them. I'm trying a new technique this year to deter squash bugs and squash vine borer, and it's called planting your plants under your bird feeders. So the birds go through the bird feeder and they toss bird seed down into the dirt, which is where the zucchini is growing out of. And then the birds go under the zucchini and they eat the bird seeds under the zucchini. And so far, I think that's been keeping the other bugs away because either the bugs are being eaten or they don't want to be in bird paradise.
wow,
So far, I still have zucchini. By this time last year, I was already on my 2nd succession.
interesting.
With the hornworms too, if you try to find them in the middle of the day, good luck. I had a hornworm on a plant, took me 20 minutes to find it. They're huge. They're as big as my pinky. They're humongous bugs, but they just are larvae, but they
blend in.
so
Yeah.
well. It's almost impossible to find them in a midday. You'll go crazy
Yeah.
trying to find it. They're there. You see half the plant eaten or whatever. It's there, but you cannot find it to save your life.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
and also the other thing too is I've been planting dill because dill is there's wasp, the parasitic wasp that lays the eggs on them. They're attracted to dill from what I've read. So I plant dill close to the plants, as a companion plant, and try to get a home for the parasitic wasps.
Right.
So try that.
But even with the wasps, they're going to be decimating your plant. By the
Yeah,
time they get killed. So
yeah. And the other thing too to look for is what a hawk moth looks like? Have you heard of a hawk moth?
yeah,
Hawk moths, the larvae of hawk moths are the hornworms. So if you see a lot of hawk moths, which kind of look almost like a hummingbird,
yeah.
they're very that's you're going to get hornworms
Okay.
in the garden. So
Okay.
not that you want to kill the hawk moth. I mean, they're really nice and they're pretty and everything, but there's like a bad side to them because their larva will destroy your tomatoes.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Okay, no.
Mark, I think that sounded like a really good deal to me. But let's go move ahead to this question on squash. Liz, do you want to explain your question here? You sent in a picture, and this is what we really want people. This is Liz did exactly what we would like to see people do. Something's
Oh,
going on in your garden.
you.
Send in a picture. You know,
Oh.
picture's worth 1,000 questions. Go ahead, Liz.
Sure. So these are pumpkins. I think they were Bonnie brand, the sprouts. My husband got earlier in the season. We've never planted pumpkins before, so we were just fooling around and finding out. They are now almost twice the size of what you see in these photos. You're just out there, flowers all over the place. I've never raised a pumpkin from infancy. Do they need to be up on a trellis? Should they be running along the ground? Oh, okay. I'm seeing some nodding heads. They should be on the ground. Yes, are we good here?
Yeah, they're gonna get so big. I've never seen them trellised, but they're gonna get
Oh,
humongous. The plants are gonna get humongous.
they are.
Huge.
Holy cow, they are. I wish I could just take the laptop out right now and show you, but it's getting dark. Oops.
Shannon last year shared some pictures where she was like, "This squash is going to go across the lawn. I don't care." So ideally, you've planted your squash where you don't care that it's going to grow across the lawn.
Oh yeah,
and
definitely.
take that
We're
spot.
trying to get rid of the lawn anyway, so it's great because we don't want to mow anything. We just want garden, and also I don't feel like mowing. So that's if they take, they're fine. I just want to make sure I'm taking good care of them because you're a pumpkin parent.
The only problem I ran into with growing on the lawn was the squash bugs were awful. Like it was like squash bug hell. So that's the one thing that I would say about growing out of the lawn. It makes you have to be like on them. I was out there at dusk killing eggs every night. It was a lot.
Okay.
I have seen some crazy, awesome, big, like how big a trellis are you talking? Because I've seen some tunnels where they grow crazy, ridiculous, big squash in a tunnel. So I know it's possible, but it depends what kind of trellis you're using. Like, are you using cattle panel? Like, it needs to be.
It probably would be huge then. We don't have anything at the moment.
It would have to be serious stuff if you were growing, like big squash takes serious trellis. So if you're gonna trellis, it needs to be like a serious trellis. I ran into more problems with squash vine borer when I grew vertically. It was like inviting them. They were like, ooh, direct to the stem. So I ran into more problems with it, but I've definitely seen other people have success. It just wasn't me.
Yeah. I don't know if we got the wherewithal just yet to get trellises that huge. So this is only second summer in the place. So I guess we'll just see what these do and then go from there once we know a bit more. But if they're fine on the ground, they're fine on the ground because, heck with the lawn. I don't see that anymore.
You might.
Sorry.
I was going to ask
Liz,
Go ahead, Sarah.
If you don't care about your lawn and they start growing on the lawn, what I would do is put some cardboard down and then go over to Sweetman's Farm, bale of hay, $7, and then put some straw over that cardboard. And then that way, you'll keep the things from the ground out of there. And it's better to have some straw when your pumpkins start to develop rather than have them right in the ground. So, and remember, there's different sizes of squash and pumpkins. So smaller ones you could trellis, but the big ones, I would not try to do the big ones. So
these, I had no idea. Here we are. So, wonderful. I'm going to let my husband's off Zoom all. Just keep it rolling with this extra straw. So
and be sure to get straw and not hay.
Yes, straw.
Hay may have seeds. Straw usually is seedless or
good, yes.
seed light.
I don't want to grow any more volunteers.
Right.
We're good with that. Stop that. And they are, man, they were crazy.
I forgot to update that one. Sorry, folks, I forgot to update the weather report.
It's all right. We've been watching it.
Really
Yeah.
kind of missed
Rainy
it.
and
Rain.
stormy.
Can we get a rain
minute.
total too? I'd love to see what the rain, like how far off the charts we are with the rain this year.
I used to find that somewhere, but I haven't noticed it lately. If anyone finds like, cumulative rain for the month or how much we got on individual days, send that our way, garden@sustainablewarwick.org.
Let's see, I got it right up here because I was looking. I can tell you for Orange County, they don't have West Point got, according to the NWS, 7.7. Montgomery got 5.13. I think the lowest was Otisville with 1.5. Tuxedo Park at 1.58. It doesn't have anything about Warwick or Greenwood Lake in there. What's the
Is that
closest?
just- Is that just from the storm?
That's
That's
just
just
from
the storm.
yesterday. Yesterday, yeah. Just
Yeah, we got rain, but not crazy rain.
yeah. Chester
Because
got
the creek didn't
2.7.
flood.
Yeah, I mean, I saw one of the local tributaries flood that I've never seen flood. So it was bad. So, well, we wanted rain. I guess we wished too hard, huh? I'm hoping for dry weather now. Dry weather.
Mhm.
Watch, we won't have any more rain till October now, right? It's one or the other. Feast or famine.
Mhm.
Well, folks, we're at a couple minutes before 9 now. Do we have any final questions for the evening?
What's the address of the town park for the meeting, July 19 and August 16?
Christy, can you find that?
SW?
Yeah, hang on. I was just doing something else. Yeah, give me a sec.
Oh, it's the town park on Union Corners Road.
Thank you.
Is that the one where they have the frisbee?
Yes, the Frisbee
I-
golf.
Okay, I know where that is.
Yeah, it's,
It's across
I
from the
don't have a
soccer field.
number. I don't have a number.
You
It's
can't
Union,
miss it.
Union Corners
that-
Road. Yeah.
And that's where the community garden is in that park?
No.
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 No,
Mm-mm.
okay. Okay. But that's where,
That's where the Sustainable Warwick's meeting.
gotcha.
The athletic fields are on one side and the park's on the other side.
Yeah. My daughter we went to soccer games there, so I know where that is, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All
Well, if there's nothing else, then we will have another meeting this month. This is the second Monday. We'll meet on the fourth Monday. I believe that's the 24th of July. So
I have a quick question. If you don't, has anyone picked any tomatoes this year so far? Has anyone gotten anything out of their tomato patches?
Not
No?
yet, soon. They're
Okay,
getting close, but not yet.
They're
Gotcha.
coming, but
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, they're flowering. They're tiny right now.
I've got cherry tomatoes, the golden color ones, and then the cherry ones, the red ones.
Nice. Okay.
and Sylvia, did you get your daughter to eat them?
No, not yet, but next week I have to show you what has become of that raspberry bush that you donated. It has quadrupled in size, and we are eating raspberries every day.
Yeah. Ours is quadrupled in size too.
She's very much enjoying that process of picking the raspberries.
So Sylvia visited us last year with her teenage daughter, who apparently never showed any interest from the vegetables coming out of their own garden at home, but some of the things we grew, she was really fascinated with. The psychology of teenagers being hard to understand, of course.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was wondering if her teenager was eating any of her own tomatoes, but
Well, she did get to taste it. I think she's coming along.
very good, very good. Well, thank you everyone for joining tonight. As again,
Thank you.
some of you didn't
Thank
hear
you.
at the beginning. I'm wondering if we could sort of put together as a team motto that we don't just beat the competition, we squash them. But
Especially
That-
if
that
they're
is-
Bought up
bugs.
with squash bugs. Squash
Okay,
bugs.
so anyway, this is a work in progress. Maybe if someone has a better idea, let us all know.
Okay.
Thanks for everyone.
Thank you.
Night.
Night.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night.